Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another action figure review for Anime Week 2 on the channel. Day number 2 of Anime Week. We're taking a look at Good Smile Company's Figma Max Factory figure number 466, Erwin Smith from Attack on Titan. Irvin, however you're supposed to pronounce it. I usually just call him the GOAT because I really like this character. He's so sick. He's got some of the best speeches I've heard in, anime and other media. He's such a great character. So I'm glad that they re-released this figure as well as Levi about the same time. I'm really hoping for Aaron, Armin, and Mikasa re-releases. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but one could hope at least. And as you can see, I've just been showing off quick images of the packaging because we're going to be here a while. Just wanted to ramble real quick. This figure is extremely stacked and the packaging is pretty nice. Let's just go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. And here's Erwin Smith out of the packaging. I can tell that horse is about ready to bite the dust. It's about to fall off, so I have to do this part quick. Very awesome set here. There is a lot of stuff. Yes, it's pretty expensive. Yes, this is going to be a bit more of another time-consuming video, unfortunately, but everything that you're paying for here is definitely worth the price. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, which hopefully we'll go through quick because it comes with some similar accessories to Levi. Then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So I thought Levi's instruction booklet was the biggest I've received for a Figma figure, but this one takes the cake because of the horse. It really adds a little bit to it. You can see all the different accessories on this instruction booklet, as well as how to take off the saddle for the horse, how to interchange the parts. You're going to want to read this up if you're going to get this figure. And we also have the basics when it comes to Figma figures. You have the baggie for the accessories, the extra wrist peg, as well as two bases this time with the adjustable necks, as well as the extra piece that goes on the peg that has a slanted angle. I guess we have one for the horse, so that's nice that they included two. Before we talk about all these accessories that you see here, it's a lot of stuff here. Some that's similar with Levi and some unique to Erwin here. I want to take a look at this horse here. This is a really nice accessory. I mean, it's pretty much an entire separate figure. We have different Figma horses in the line, like 3 or 4 different colors compared to this light gray off-white one. And I thought this was going to be the same sculpt as those, but looking at some of the images, I do believe it is a different sculpt. I wouldn't have mind if it, we reused the sculpt, but it is cool that we have a more unique sculpt with this horse, particularly because of some of the saddlebags and whatnot. This is such a beautiful piece. It's nice to have another horse in the collection because really the only other horse I have is from McFarlane Toys. I think the Witcher Roach from Netflix. And this is just, this first of all, that gets snagged in there. We have the soft, almost like velvet, I don't really know if I'm saying the fabric right, but it's like a soft felt type plastic. It's a little stretchy, but not by much. It's cloth. If I said plastic, I'm an idiot. It's cloth. I keep calling it plastic because I'm so used to getting all plastic. They have included cloth pieces here as well, where you hook the feet. I don't remember all the parts of a saddle for horses. Unfortunately, I apologize. But all that stuff is really cool that they have some actual like soft fabric. That's really sick. The sculpt here does look a little animated. You could make this work for other characters, though, for live action probably. I don't think anyone's going to notice too much. It being animated, it's not a bad thing because it's from an anime. Nice black eyes. I really like the silver around the mouth. I forget exactly what all this is supposed to be called that goes around the head. But all that looks really good. The snout. It's mostly just painted in this one tone of light gray. And I just feel like the paint is so fragile. You can see even some tiny like lines. You see this? Like where it's a little glossy. That's a scuff. Because the paint is so delicate. That's my biggest complaint with like throughout the whole Figma line. It's just, the paint looks nice, but it's really delicate. You barely touching it. Sometimes it just seems like it messes up and just ends up looking kind of ugly once you look closer. I really like what's going on with the mane here. This dark gray fur. This is sculpted pretty well. I think it could be a little bit more detailed, but it still looks really nice. It's nicely painted. I like the saddlebags here. These pouches with these dark brown or black straps. You have some silver on there. The light brown going all the way around. Even on the chest piece there's some silver. I think the paint is pretty consistent, so that's good. Here's this other pouch, which it does have, I think, a little bit of a ball joint. If not, just mostly swivels. I guess it swivels. Yeah, it swivels on the other side. We have the blanket that goes on top of the back, and then around the stomach here. Not much else. There's just some brown, is what I was trying to say. Not much else to talk about. There is the hole on the stomach for the base, as well as the right there. We have the tail, which has some pretty decent sculpting. Could be a little bit better sculpted, if you ask me. Kind of like how the mane is, but it still looks good. It has pretty nice dark gray paint. The rest has some nice muscles sculpted. Pretty accurate anatomy of a horse. We actually do have silver on the bottom here on the dark gray because of the horseshoes, and the horseshoes detailed on here look really good. And I don't remember what this would be called here for the saddle. Essentially, what you would do if you want to take these off is you just, I guess you would just pop this out, and you can adjust this. There's holes in here, so you can put them in different holes. And then I was kind of hoping maybe we would get like a plastic piece that goes over here to make it all kind of look like one blanket. That would have been kind of nice, but it's fine that they didn't, honestly. Pop this bad boy on there, and voila. The horse does have articulations, ball joints mostly in the head. Not the greatest range of motion, but gets what you need for a horse. You have a ball joint in the neck as well. Forward and back, a little bit in and out right here at the leg. A single joint here, which slightly swivels right there, and I think it swivels a little bit here, but not by much. You do get bends here. It does swivel a little bit at the foot here, at the hoof, I should say. And then we do have, I think it's mostly, it goes a little bit in and out, but it's mostly going to go back and forth with this leg, up and down again here, this range of motion. And then you do have a little bit of a bend at this hoof. You also do have a hinge and ball peg going in both areas of this ball joint here. Hinges here, you can rotate it. It's just going to be a little bit difficult for me, but you can make it go side to side. We're going to be here a little while for the accessories, aren't we? First of all, let's start with the hand tree. This figure doesn't come with as many hands as Levi, but there are some unique hands for Levi with that figure. We have similar, I don't know if these are the exact same sculpt, I think they would be a little bit different. If they are reused, it's fine. I know for a fact skin tones are going to be different. Levi's is a little bit lighter. Open posed hands, gripped hands, which these can actually be used for holding the reins on this horse, as well as hands that have these index and ring finger sticking out, so you can hold the blades attached to the ODM gear. And you have this tree here, does have Figma sculpted on there. We have this Survey Corps cloak that is the exact. I did look at it for the previous one. It is the exact same as Levi's. I think even the exact same paint. If I thought there was black shading in some parts here, I think there's the same here, and that's fine. I do wish this was maybe a little bit of a different sculpt because of... actually, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if Levi's has a separation here, because you guys, there's a huge separation compared to the other one. I actually don't know if that's supposed to be like that. I do wish this was a different sculpt so it would be more relaxed. You can actually interchange them. If you wanted a more relaxed one for Levi sometimes, you would just give it to him. It's fine that it's the exact same sculpt because it still looks really good. I do like pretty much all the wrinkles. Survey Corps logo there. Soft plastic piece that goes into the back. Just like with Levi's, you would plug this into Erwin's back. And then this all makes the cloak really easy to stay in the back. We also have, just like with Levi last time, these soft fabric hook pieces with the clear plastic hooks that do have these parts that remove here. And then you, of course, so you saw you got two of those, and you get these that are supposed to plug into something, these adjustable pieces here. Going this way, it works the same way. So all that works well. We actually have two of these. I don't know where the other one is right now. I guess it's stuck with the other one. We have two extra string, I guess, if you need to replace them. So that's cool that they gave us the string. Just like with Levi, we have these two blades, which are the exact same sculpt, all the way down to the silver paint on the blade with the notches, all throughout the blade, the way that some of the blued steel came through. I still really like these sculpts. They're beautifully sculpted with a nice paint. Absolutely amazing blades. And then you do have removable blade pieces. And then you just shove that back in there. Next up, we have this piece that goes on top of the ODM gear. This little circular piece right here, you pop that off, and this would be just some hot steam to propel whoever is using the ODM gear with this white, slightly frosted looking paint apps on this, this steam piece, and you do have a hole there, so that way you can plug in a Figma base. We do have these steam pieces that go in front of the ODM gear for shooting out the hooks. They seem like they're molded in a translucent plastic, and they're painted over. And I've already kind of went over these, but I'll give you just a quick look. Pretty nicely sculpted. Definitely looks like hot air. It's kind of crystallized. You have these hooks here, which have some dark silver tips at the end. Really long, thin, and brittle if you mess with this too much. Long black plastic piece here. Looks like it's shooting out straight. These base pieces here plug into the holes of the ODM gear right there. And then this is the rest of the ODM gear. It's the exact same that we got with Levi. Lots of beautiful, fantastic sculpting of different types of silver in there. You have the gas canisters, or whatever this mechanism was called. Again, I forget exactly. All these different extra blades that can... they don't actually come out, but they look like they're popping out. That looks a little warped. That's unfortunate. Soft plastic pieces that are almost like string that will, don't hyperextend these too much, but they'll break off. This piece here plugs on, into the bottom of the blade like it's supposed to. That's cool. This plugs into the middle section. Where is my Levi figure? I don't know where my Erwin figure is either, but with Levi, you just plug it into the middle right there where that metal piece is on his back. You do the same for Erwin. I don't know where I put Erwin right now. That's not good. Lots of great silver paint, blue steel. These little strap pieces too. Swivel around here. It allows for swiveling at least. It's just beautifully constructed and beautifully detailed with all those mechanical inner workings. And there's also these here. These pegs pop into the hips. These pop into the thighs, and they have a ball joint here, so they do have some articulation where you see these pegs sticking out right there. Unique for, besides the hands, unique for Erwin. Screaming face here. My soldier's rage! That was so sick. Oh man, I had to do the line. I did it a little cringy, but this is really nicely printed. Beautifully sculpted. The paint of the blonde hair is also really nice. The eyebrows too, pretty decent sculpting. The ears, the separation of the paint where the tongue and the teeth are is really good. That looks awesome. Then we have the gritting teeth. Look at how crazy it looks with the creases even underneath the eyes. A little bit of like some shading around the creases around the mouth there. That's really sick. The gritting teeth came through really nice. So yeah, all of that looks fantastic. Last but not least, we have the alternate arm piece here. And you can see the survey core printed on there on the shoulder. This open flap here looks like it would be blowing in the wind. I'm going to plug this into the arm. I'm not going to do that right now, but this piece here is a plug that prevents this from shrinking. So that's good. When I don't put this on here, or I don't have this on the figure, I'm going to have to put this on here at all times. Lots, and I mean lots of accessories, including the horse, which I guess would count as a separate figure actually, but still a lot of stuff with this figure. First of all, sculpt on this guy. Fantastic, like always. I think Good Smile has some of the best sculptors I've seen in like many Japanese imports. They have fantastic sculpting. That's not perfect. Look at that seam line where the hair is. So there's that. But like the face, the printing on the face, and the sculpting overall to capture, the different facial structure of this character, really well done. Beautifully printed eyes. Even nice eyebrows. A little bit of like a sideburn right here. I don't really know exactly what happens with some of the hair here, but that looks good. And then that blonde hair, again, that seam line's a little ugly. Still looks good though. So I have compared and contrast. Let's get this freaking standoff, Levi. So you were like, yeah, they just upscaled things from Levi. No, there is. I mean, they probably borrowed some elements of the sculpt, like how some of the ways that some of the wrinkles on the sleeves are shaped. But other than that, there's more. I do think it's actually more prominent sculpting on here than here. The biggest place, it's not. I mean, it's still really well sculpted. Erwin. But biggest place I noticed that you can actually see the lines more going down the seam line on the outer leg, outer thigh on Levi compared to Erwin's. It's not very prominent. That could be the paint getting in the way too. And just the way that their stomachs are, the way that all that's molded and sculpted, it's definitely, it's just definitely, the fact that also it's a shorter figure, definitely brand new. I don't know if it's reusing parts from, from like Aaron or Armin, but I don't have those figures. But this is still really good sculpting. One thing I do want to do real quick, I forgot. This figure is about just under 6 inches. Centimeters wise, you're getting a 15, maybe about a 15 centimeter action figure here. Pretty good sizing. A lot of the time, at least with the characters I own, I have younger Figma characters. Mostly Demon Slayer and some My Hero stuff. So having an adult here, they're definitely going to be taller than some of those. Bolo tie came through really nice with this emerald green painted on there. You look closer, it is, this whole piece around the neck is a separate piece, I believe. Or it actually is, it's a separate piece, but it's pretty well secured in there. It's similar to Levi's handkerchief, how that is a separate piece. Nice brown on the straps, as well as silver on the buckles, silver buttons. This is a lot more even. If you see here, the way that this is going all the way around the torso. Whereas with Levi's, it's pointing, this end here of the jacket, it's pointing downward more. That was a big way for me to realize it's not just an upscale jacket. It is a different sculpted jacket. Beautiful printing of the Survey Corps emblem on here. That looks great. Nice wrinkles. Brown paint's pretty good. The skin tone, there's the fist he comes with. Survey Corps on the back, as you can see, has a hole there so it breaks up the paint, but that's fine because of the purpose for it. There is some gnarliness, whatever's going on here on the inner bicep. I don't know. Again, you theoretically, right? You do this, just a little bit of a touch, and sometimes it just scratches the hell out of the figure. I love how they're painted. Just hit my display. I love how these figures are painted, but the paint is so delicate, that it just can make it look really gnarly sometimes. So that's a little unfortunate. But the rest of the figure, that white shirt also has some pretty nice wrinkles and buttons in there. You also have, I forget exactly what this piece around the waist would be. It's much larger and has a bigger cut here compared to Levi's, which has a bit of a smaller cut there. Just some wrinkles in that. Brown. Blanket, whatever this is supposed to be around the... It's not really a skirt. But we also have these straps and belts, which are similarly, but not the exact same way, to Levi's, because they're actually more spread. The X on the back is more spread out. And then you have the back with all the silver there. That's for the ODM gear. I'm forgetting some of these names for some reason, man. It's been a long day at work. Yikes. We do have some really nice buckles towards the thighs, and I'll get to articulation later, but I do want to mention Levi's thighs were really tight. These are much looser, but still keep a nice pose, so that's good to see. We have these little padded pieces that have a hole in there for plugging in some of the ODM gear, and you got to see on the hip right there too, where that hole is. Lots of nice brown straps with pretty consistent paint. No white going onto the brown and vice versa. That's nice. We have the boots, which have a similar sculpt to Levi's. Again, they're not the exact same just because they're much larger. Yeah, they're definitely... They look it, but they really are not. It's not just an upscaled version. I never noticed these little things on the ends, whatever these ties are. You see that? Little ball right there? That's kind of cool. There's the back. You can see the joint. You know, it's not that bad of a circular joint on this figure. You bend the knee, just like what I did with Levi. I'm showing off. Doesn't look too bad, although colors are pretty inconsistent here compared to the rest of the pants. It's okay. One thing I do think is reused is the shoes, and I'll show off Levi's in a second. They have a really great treading on the bottom of the foot, though, like previously, like with Levi. When I put these right next to each other, these are the exact same size. Putting them, it's going to be a little difficult. Putting them like this, they look like the exact same size. If they're not, then Levi's is a tiny bit shorter, but I wouldn't honestly, I wouldn't put them past them to, you know, reuse the feet. I don't blame them, if I'm being quite honest, because the feet were already pretty good to begin with. I don't think they look too small on Erwin either. So we have about the same amount of articulation here that we did with Levi. Some of the joints might be a little tight on this guy. I didn't think I took off the face before, so that's how you take off the face. I forgot to mention. It's pretty easy to do, but it also shows off how that joint system works. It's a little bit angled inward. You have a ball joint in there, and then this is a hinge, and then you have articulation not only at this part of the neck, but you have it going into the torso too. Theoretically, it could bend all the way down. So let's pop this face back on, and my neighbors are moving around for some reason. That's as far down as he wants to go. Up is not the greatest on my figure. Side to side's pretty good. Rotation's fine. The face wants to fall off a little too much easily, though. So the articulation going into the body from the neck doesn't feel very sturdy either. It looks like it just doesn't want to move at all. We have socketed elbows and going into the chest, I should say, to kind of make a butterfly joint. It can go up and down. It does have a swivel inside there. That's as far out it wants to go out, so that's pretty nice. It goes all the way around, like I think I mentioned earlier. We have a bit of a swivel up here, a little bit of a swivel right here at the forearm, but not that much. Single joint elbow gets over 90, pretty nice. Standard wrist articulation hinges here, and it rotates at two areas, so you can make it rotate, and then you can make it go up and down. Two different ball joints at the chest and the waist. Really good motion actually here, although you can see some of the joints there, forward, side to side. And then you have that combined rotation here, a little bit of a rotation as well. A little bit forward and back and side to side. That's as far forward as it wants to go, and that's as far back as it wants to go. Not awful, except again, it's kind of showing off the joint a little too much. We do have a bit of a thigh swivel inside the sculpting there, but you're mostly going to get a thigh swivel here. It does kick out at the legs pretty well, and this is a soft crotch piece, so it kicks out decently. Kicks back not that much because the blanket piece wants to get in the way. Do that thigh swivel again. Single joint knee. Bend up and down at the foot, better down than it does up. A bit of an ankle rocker, that's actually pretty decent. Inward like that, outward, not greatest. I think I already said it has a bit of a swivel. And then we do have toe hinge, which is a little bit stiff on mine. Quick size comparisons, far left and right. Some Hasbro figures like Black Suit Spider-Man from Marvel Action's first ever Mandalorian from Star Wars The Black Series. They're not in scale with Figma. They're taller, so they're, of course, going to be towering a bit compared to Erwin. But as you can see, Erwin towers over Levi a lot, which is accurate because Levi's a pretty short guy. But as you can see, SH Figuarts like Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen do not scale very well with Figma since they are much taller. Overall, another really nice attack on Titan Figma here. The detailing and paint is great, even though some of the paint's a little fragile on mine with some of the scuffs. The articulation is pretty decent too. It definitely captures Commander Erwin really well. All the accessories are really great here. The ODM gear, it was a little finagly when I did it with Levi. It's still a little bit here, but I was used to doing it with Levi, so I was a little bit more prepared. Putting the ODM gear onto Erwin here. All the other accessories are really nice here too. A lot of stuff is shared from Levi. He doesn't come with as many hands as Levi, but he doesn't really need that many hands. He also has the sleeve with his arm cut off. Now, I do wish the sculpting on it was a little bit more relaxed downward. It looks more like it's flowing in the wind more backward. It's still really cool. I just wish it was a little bit more relaxed. It's such a minor nitpick. It doesn't bug me that much. The horse is also a big selling point. you're getting a horse with this figure. So yes, it is a little bit more expensive, but the horse itself has great detailing, really fun options with it too. I really like those soft fabric, restraints or whatever they really are. This soft plastic I was talking about earlier. It's really nice on the horse. I don't know some of the stuff that's on a horse, but when you put it all together, the figure on the horse, it all looks great together. This figure's a little expensive. It's about 135 bucks on certain domestic websites. I got mine for a little over 100, including shipping on Amiami. I don't know if it's still available there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share, mix your friends, follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.